Hey Justin, I'm Joe Morrison with Clutch Sports, and I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about your future. And I know you're still in school. I know that you have 2 more years of eligibility, but that LSU game, you put on a clinic, and the scouts were watching. And I just want to let you know that you might have a big opportunity if you declare this year. Now, I'm going to give you my business card, and we'll be in touch. Give me a call whenever you want if you have any questions, but I think I can get you in the first part of the first round if you go out this year. And I know, like I said, you want to return to school, get that Big Ten championship, maybe even a national championship, but the opportunity is there. I mean, if you go back, you have the chance to be hurt, and that's a risk that I don't know if I'd be willing to take. So take my card. Give me a call when you get a chance if you have any questions. I'm always here. I'm all ears, and you can hit my cell. There it is, right on there on the card. Just let me know. I'm available anytime to talk. Just give it some thought. I'll talk to you later. Yo, what's good, YouTube? This is Jay from TNJ, and welcome back to the Whitetails Dynasty, following up on Season 6, and that was an amazing season as we got another 11-win season. And I gotta admit, like, winning a bowl game for the first time in this series, it was crazy, and I'm really proud of this team. The seniors, I'm gonna miss them, especially guys like Nathan Beaver, who we have so much history with. But I'm excited for the new chapter and a new wave of starters and a new freshman class coming in. I'm excited for a lot of these guys that are coming in. Now, let's just recap this season, and let's just talk about this last game. So versus LSU, I was really blown away by Xavier Storm and Justin DiRoberto. They have a chemistry unlike any other, and DiRoberto is definitely on some NFL radars after this bowl victory. Now, I want to just talk about how good the Big Ten is. Now, Wisconsin State, we defeated LSU, but let's look at some other Big Ten teams and their bowl games. So starting with Marquette. So Marquette went to a BCS game, and they actually defeated Stanford 35-28. So that was a good season for them. They won the Big Ten and won a BCS bowl. And on top of that, man, I got to admit, like, we got promoted from the American Athletic Conference, Marquette and us. And in the 2 years that we've been promoted, each of us have a conference championship. We couldn't even win the American, but then we get promoted and then win the Big Ten. Navy defeats Colorado, another big bowl victory, 42-21. So that's 3-0 for Big Ten teams. Then Nebraska ends up beating Ole Miss 28-16. So another Big Ten team beating an SEC school. But we're not done. Michigan defeats Arkansas. So we have not lost a bowl game in the Big Ten at all so far. Let's just keep going here. Penn State defeats Baylor. So Big Ten is just dominating this bowl season. And then Illinois plays Ohio State. I don't know how that happened. I'm not even sure that can happen in real life. 2 conference teams playing a bowl game, but it did. So I would kind of call that just a wash because the Big Ten team ended up winning, but a Big Ten team ended up losing. But then Minnesota defeated Army. So a lot of these Big Ten teams are dominating, and we did not lose at all this bowl season. So I mentioned before in the last episode that Notre Dame was sitting there at they were number 1 and Texas was number 2. And actually, they're number 3, and Navy actually was sitting there at number 3. So with the win, they could have jumped up to number 2 and been in the title game. But Texas ends up beating Notre Dame 28-22 to take home the BCS National Championship. So that was a big year for Texas, and they're back on the map. So let's take a look at the award winners. So the quarterback for Texas, John Johnson, let's just take a look at the year he had. So he won the Maxwell and the O'Brien. He threw for 3,003 yards, 41 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. A great season from him. And not only that, he ran for 752 yards and 5 touchdowns. He's 93 overall. And he really is just an accurate quarterback who can run the ball, but he doesn't have elite speed. He's probably going to be back for his senior year. Now, the Walter Camp was won by George Jenkins, so a different quarterback won this one. as let's see what he did. He must have ran for like 1,000 yards too. So he threw for 2,500 and he ran for 1,000 yards and 16 touchdowns. Wow, what a big season from him. So Bednarik, Richard Lewis actually finishes second for the best defensive player in the nation. Wow, let's just take a look at the season he had. 45 tackles in his senior year, 8 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, 3 interceptions. That's a great season. That is an All-American season if there was one, and he saved his best for last. That was his best career year. And J.J. Wyatt down here at number 7, he finished with 63 tackles, 16 for loss, 2 sacks, 3 pass deflections. Now let's see if any of our other guys won any awards. Jimmy Craig ended up taking home the Walker. Remember, Reggie Silver did win the Biletnikoff for best receiver. Xavier Storm finishes 4th. Now, I don't know how this happened because let's just look at the year compared to everybody else. Xavier Storm had 98 receptions, 19 touchdowns. And granted, 3 of those came in that bowl game, so after the award was given out. And then he probably had like 1,400 or so yards and about, 94. I think he had 5 catches in that game, so he had 93 catches going into that game. But you saw he did win best returner as well, which we'll get to that. Bryce Greer takes home the Mackey. So he finished with 90 receptions, 1,100 yards, and 8 touchdowns. And this was his first year starting. Remember, last year he was playing next side alongside a Chris Coretta as well. But this time he doubled his total in yards, touchdowns, and catches. So he had a beastie of a year. And then just looking at the guy below him, he finished with 1,000 yards, 67 receptions, and 13 touchdowns. So you can see the difference between Bryce Greer and the next guy up. But surprisingly, Richard Lewis did not win best linebacker. So I'm surprised at that. I wish he would have won at least one of these awards, but he does have a really good senior season. And then looking at the other awards here, Xavier Storm does take home the best returner, and he had 2 touchdowns, 1,900 yards of kick return yards. And then looking at the other guys, you can just see, Xavier Storm almost had 1,000 more than the next guy. That's amazing. So All-Americans, let's just take a look. Jimmy Craig gets first-team running back, and look at Larry Powell from Marquette. In his senior year, he had 1,300 yards rushing, 18 touchdowns. That's over double what he had in the previous season, and this was definitely his best year yet. And look at Silva, he's there, but Xavier Storm does get that second receiver spot as an All-American. I'm proud that he got that. Like I said, 98 catches, 1,600 yards. Just an amazing year. Let's just see if anybody else got first-team All-American. And take a look. Justin Royal. You've got to be kidding me. This guy got All-American first team, and he even missed the first 5 games or so. Because remember, Cam Duvana was the starter at first, but then Justin Royal took over, and look at this. 51 tackles, a sack, 3 interceptions, a defensive touchdown, and 2 pass deflections. This guy is amazing. He is going to convert to safety, and I will just spoil it right now. He is one of the 3 overachievers that will get that upgrade for next season, and some other guys which we will go over later in this video as well. Nathan Beaver, once again, this is his 3rd All-American season. This one was, I don't know if it was that great though. 46 tackles, 7 for loss, a sack, and 3 pass deflections. To me, that's not an All-American season, but I guess I'll take it. But I got to be proud of that guy. So let's go on to second team. How does Bryce Greer win the best tight end award for 2019 Mackey and not win first team All-American as a tight end? He went second team. I don't know how that happens. Who was in first team? It was Davis. So yeah, I'm not really sure on that one. But Bryce Greer does get second team tight end. Let's see if anybody else got it. Oh, Richard Lewis. There we go. Second team All-American for him. That's pretty good, sending him off to whatever he's going to do in life as a second teamer. And then let's just take a look at freshmen. I'm not sure if we had any freshmen All-American, but let's just see. And it looks like J.J. Wyatt and Justin Royal. Oh yeah, those 2 for sure. J.J. Wyatt had a pretty good freshman here, 63 total tackles, 2 sacks, 3 pass deflections. And then Justin Royal, we all know the season that he just had. And then our kicker, Brian Wade, who actually is likely going to get replaced. He actually did miss a field goal, but he only has 71 kick power. and 71 accuracy. Hopefully I can get a better kicker than him. So I do just want to see who dominated the all Big Ten team. Alfred Miller from Marquette gets first team quarterback. How? Over Justin DiRoberto? Is that even possible? Man, I disagree with that, but whatever. Xavier Storm gets first team all Big Ten. Bryce Greer. Looks like Marquette and Penn State pretty much dominated up front. Richard Lewis, J.J. Wyatt, Justin Royal, and Nathan Beaver all get first team. And then second team, DiRoberto does get second team all Big Ten. Nichols, our right tackle, actually gets second team. That's actually the first time that's happened because remember, wow, so he actually gave up 10 sacks as well in his senior year. Gets second team. That's pretty good. Bobby Mathis gets second team left end. Jonathan Simmons gets second team defensive tackle. Victor Dimitronkos gets second team as well. And then Coco Bamaye. Coco Bamaye was actually our fourth listed guy on the depth chart. He gets second team all Big Ten. That is crazy, but it's probably because he got the 3 interceptions. I mean, when he played, he produced. So let's look at the season stats. Justin DiRoberto, redshirt sophomore, is eligible for the NFL draft. Remember, you only need 3 years of college experience, and a redshirt year does count. So NFL scouts have been looking at him, especially with that performance versus LSU, and he is on NFL radars. We'll see if he returns. 41 touchdowns and 7 interceptions, 4,000 yards passing. That led the NCAA. Brian Baker wasn't a bad backup quarterback, believe it or not. 56 overall walk-on, but he's probably going to lose his spot just because we have some recruits at quarterback coming in. We didn't really have a backup plan once Brian Simmons left, so we will have to see what the future holds at quarterback. Remember, we do have the younger brother, Maverick Yarbrough from Marlin, coming in as well. Adam Murphy does almost reach 1,000 yards. We have not had a 1,000-yard rusher at all in this series so far. He is the closest, 11 yards away, and he had a 5.2 yards per carry average, 16 touchdowns. His longest run of the year was 70 as well, 321 yards after first contact. I am going to miss that power running the ball. Well, that means that Julian Gonzalez, the redshirt freshman, is going to take over. He is probably going to be in the mid-70s when he is starting now, and he had 4 rushing touchdowns this year, 213 yards off of 50 attempts. That's a fourth of Murphy's carries. Bam Cameron will return for his senior season as well. He will split time with Gonzalez. I really like what he does, actually, catching the ball out of the backfield. Let's just see, he had 64 yards rushing, nothing there. But then out of the backfield, he had 16 receptions for 139 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he did just enough for our receiving game. And then a couple of guys ended up running the ball like Xavier Storm. Not too many guys ran the ball after those 3. Now, receiving-wise, this was a huge receiving year for Xavier Storm. Probably the best, it is, not probably, it is the best receiving year of any receiver in Whitetails history. 98 receptions, 1,600 yards. Could he possibly eclipse the immaculate career that Marlon Yarbrough? I think he can. As great as Marlon Yarbrough was, I think Xavier Storm is just a tick better. 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons, and has not had below 10 receiving touchdowns as well. Even in his freshman year when he was playing alongside Marlon Yarbrough, he still had double-digit touchdowns. And then in that bowl game, we all know he just went berserk. I mean, man, that guy is just amazing. Bryce Greer, 90 receptions, 1,100 yards, and 8 touchdowns. He was second. Maurice Jackson, I really like this guy in the slot. He had 7 touchdowns, 642 yards receiving, and 54 receptions. And Francis Smith quietly is just the steady guy in this receiving core. He just does enough. He had 5 touchdown passes for a year ago. Pretty good to have on the outside alongside of Xavier Storm. Marquise Moore did pretty well. He only had 3 touchdown receptions, but he did good in his first year getting in the receiving core. And then 2 of the running backs, Bam Cameron and Julian Gonzalez, did pretty good. Murphy did all right as well. And then Trayvon White, who did get in quite, I mean, he was on the field. He probably just didn't get the ball, get as many targets. He had only 8 receptions for 170 yards. And then the backup tight end, Chris Schaefer, had a catch for 26 yards. So, you know, the thing about our offensive line is that, you know, we do have some seniors. Dante Nichols, our right tackle, is leaving. we're definitely going to need to replace him, but we do have some other guys that are capable of moving to other positions and also good depth. Tommy Jode is going to be missed as well. He's been our left guard for 4 years now. Jeremy Hawkins, we're going to have to replace him on the offensive line, but we do have some offensive linemen recruits that we do have coming in, so I'm not really worried about our offensive line. Now, let's take a look at defense. J.J. Wyatt, the true freshman, he had an incredible first season. 63 tackles, led our team. 16 for loss. That's an excellent season. Blake Childress actually had 56, which was second on our team. 53 solo tackles, 18 for loss, 2 sacks. That's pretty good for the senior. Now, Justin Royal is going to get the Overachiever Award along with Xavier Storm and Anderson Reed. Those are going to be the 3 that get the Overachiever bonuses. That means they will get a +3 in their position rating. So Justin Royal, who will convert to a safety, he will get coverage bonuses. He will not get the awareness bonus, but he will get the press. He will get the play recognition, the tackling, the pursuit, and also the strength and hit power. So he will get all of those upgrades, +3 in each of those. And I'll talk about the other 2 when I get to them as well. Richard Lewis, as a senior, had 3 sacks. Remember, he did lead our team in interceptions as well. He had 3, along with Coco Bamaye, and also, I believe, Justin Royal. Yeah, Justin Royal had 3 as well. Nathan Beaver, like I said, I was surprised that he was an All-American. 46 tackles. He just had an all right season, but I'm going to miss him. We're going to need to replace him at safety. Marquise Dorsey did all right on the outside. He did get burnt on a couple of defensive touchdowns. I got to admit that. But he did pretty well. Sophomore redshirt. I think he's going to improve going into next season. Like I said, he's not really a man cover corner. And that's when he got burnt because he sees it's 75 man coverage. And when we play man, that's when he just gets lit up. Victor Dimitrankos had a really good year in his first meaningful playing time. And he had 39 tackles, 9 for loss, 3 sacks, a forced fumble. I mean, he was just all over the field. Zane Alexander is an unsung senior. He didn't give up any big plays really in all 4 years. He started from day one. He started out as a nickel corner and then converted over onto our number 1 position over on the right side of the field. He pretty much locked up that side. 4 pass deflections was his career high. I'm definitely going to miss him. He was a part of the original first draft class. Coco Bamaye, like I said, had 3 interceptions, and he was a second-team All-Big Ten. That's pretty good. He's going to need to play a big role next year, and he might actually play in Zane Alexander's place because you see he is the most all-around cornerback on the roster. He is 6'1". He's got size, too, good speed. He's going to be pretty good going into next year. Now, Big Bobby Mathis had an incredible year, to be honest. 5 sacks, 23 tackles, 14 for loss. That is definitely, it's a great year because remember last year I kind of sat him. He was starting for 4 games and he only had 3 tackles. I mean, that wasn't good enough. So what did he do in the offseason? He got in the gym. He got better. 5 sacks. That's a great improvement. Jonathan Simmons, also a great improvement over last season. Now, last season he had more tackles, but this season he had more tackles for loss and sacks. That's the kind of impact that I look from a defensive tackle. He's going to have help next year with Frankie Kai coming in, the true freshman. He's going to have a good impact as well. Ali Myers is going to get some playing time at cornerback next year along with Kokompa Maye. Now, Ali Myers is more of an all-around cornerback, so I'm going to have to shuffle around these guys in the secondary. I don't know who's going to play which role. Justin Royal is going to convert to safety full-time, so we're going to have to figure some stuff out there. Cam Duvano is a senior as well. He gets sent off, and he did get his spot taken. He had an okay career. He had a good stretch of games, but besides that good stretch of games his freshman year, didn't really make too much of an impact the next 3. Now, David Wyatt, sorry to say that, it's David Wyatt. He had 2 sacks in that one game, but then did not make an impact over the rest of the season, and that's when Victor Dimitrankos really started to make his way into the starting lineup and really, make an impact. But the guy that made the most impact on the defensive line down the stretch was Anderson Reed. He had 6 sacks in only about 6 games starting, I believe. 6 or 7 games starting, 6 sacks. It was pretty good. He made impacts beyond what the stats would say. I mean, you could just see on running plays or passing downs, he would be getting pressure on every single play. He's 6'8". I mean, 2 6'8" guys. I mean, Anderson Reed 6'8". Big Boy Mathis is 6'7". I mean, these guys are going to be great, and he's going to get the overachiever bonus, so he will get a +3 in power moves, +3 in finesse moves, +3 in block shedding, +3 in pursuit, and +3 in tackling. So he will get that upgrade, and also a +3 in strength. So he's going to come back pretty strong come next year, and that is actually going to be a bonus they get before training. So this will be before they get any type of bonus in the offseason. And then let's just look at some other guys that I do want to highlight here on the defensive side of the ball, like Jake State Farm, guys like that. And then also Colson Kavoris. Where is Colson Kavoris? Because he actually started out the year, and then we had his spot taken over by Anderson Reed. He only finished with 6 tackles, and I was looking for him to have more of an impact, but he didn't really come through like that. But he's going to have an opportunity to get it next year. I'm not really too concerned with him. I think that Anderson Reed just took his spot and kind of ran with it, and that's just the type of year that he had. So to end this episode, I just wanted to show you guys the NCAA passing leaders and all the leaders for all of them. Justin DiRoberto leads the NCAA in passing by over 500 yards, so an incredible feat by him. Adam Murphy finished 89th in rushing. Xavier Storm finishes first in receiving by over 300 yards. That's an incredible season. We have the top 3 tacklers in the nation, with J.J. Wyatt leading the way. Anderson Reed finished 66, tied for 66. He had 6 on the year. And then interception leaders, Richard Lewis had 3. Brigham from Michigan State had 9. That is incredible. And then our kicker definitely was not even close. He was not that good. So that's going to do it here for the recap, and I am very, very proud of this team and proud of, just the future of this program because, like I said, we're not losing a ton of senior talent. We're losing some starters, but they're definitely replaceable. I would say that maybe Blake Childress will be the hardest to replace because he did finish top 3 in tackles on our team, but you never know. And you never know based on what we did this year and, the success that we had, who's going to be gone from our coaching staff. So we might have a completely new coaching staff come next year. So that is going to do it here in this episode. Let me know what you guys think of this team going forward and get ready for the offseason. Hit subscribe. Hit that like button. Stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.
I've been working hard for a minute. The ones who don't deserve it seem to be the ones that get it. The ones who speak the truth never get the recognition, but the ones that act foolish seem to get all the attention. It don't matter though, yeah. Hey, it don't even matter though. No, hey, it don't even matter.